Robert Noyce was born on December 12, 1927, in Burlington, Iowa, the third of four sons. Noyce grew up in a loving and religious household. Always a bright kid with good grades, excelling particularly in his math and science classes. This led him to getting his BA in mathematics and physics from Grinnell College in 1949. He then received his doctorate in physics from MIT in 1953. Then, the man went to work, co-founding Fairchild Semiconductor in 1957 and then co-founding Intel in 1968. During his career, he would be credited for the invention of the integrated circuit, and while at Intel would oversee the invention of the microprocessor. Noyce lived a rather Noyce life. I'm sorry, that's the only time I'll ever say that again in the video. Yeah. Receiving 15 patents, getting married, having kids, having an affair with a 28-year-old Intel mask designer, which led to a divorce with his wife, which led to him losing half of his assets to his wife. Whoops. But it's okay. He got married again and lived a happy life. Unfortunately, for being such a smart guy, he wasn't smart enough to realize cigarettes were bad for you, so he contracted emphysema and died of a heart attack on June 3rd, 1990. Oh well. It's okay. He went on to have a positive, long-lasting legacy in Silicon Valley, and that's all that really matters. So Noyce began his career post-1950s. He lived in a great time for computer innovation. After all, this is when technology was starting to boom. Computers were starting to play a big role in society, and computer languages like Fortran had already been invented. So, in 1959, when he was with Fairchild Semiconductor, he achieved what he is most famous for, inventing the integrated circuit, which is a set of electronic circuits on one small flat piece of semiconductor material, usually being silicon. He came up with this because at the time, Fairchild produced transistors and other elements on large silicon wafers, cut the components out of the wafer, and later connected individual components with wires. However, as the number of connections increased, it became progressively more difficult to solder in ever small spaces. Noyce realized that cutting the wafer apart was unnecessary. Instead, he could manufacture an entire circuit, complete with transistors, resistors, and other elements on a single silicon wafer, which became what we know now as the integrated circuit. Now, there were a few other people that also made the concept of an integrated circuit. There were some patent wars and such, but in the end, based on the decision by the U.S. Appeals Court, Noyce got the credit and the patent for the integrated circuit, and this became the reason he is and will most likely forever be known in computer science. He made countless other cool tech, like I said. He had 15 patents, but the integrated circuit is what he will forever be known for. So what was the importance of Noyce's integrated circuit? Well, nowadays they perform functions like calculations and storage, and it is used in almost all electronic devices. But most importantly, it's its size that makes it so important. You're taking a huge circuit and putting it into a tiny little chip. This opened the floodgates for things like personal computers and mobile devices like phones, because without the integrated circuit, all these circuits would take up so much space. Technology can never become portable. But now our lives are based on portable technology, and a lot of that credit goes to Noyce and its design of the integrated circuit. Now, a cool fact. Honestly, based on the baseline research I did of this man, Noyce seemed pretty boring, so I couldn't find too many fun facts or hobbies or whatever, but something I found cool was that his favorite author was Ernest Hemingway. I just find that interesting just because I've also read a couple of his books and find his books quite interesting. But yeah, that was Robert Noyce, a smart, boring techie that made one of the world's most useful piece of tech, forever solidifying his name in computer science history. If only he wasn't lame and hadn't smoked all those cigarettes, but whatever.